Thomas Young, hanged June 30th, 1959. On Tuesday, June 30th, 1959, Thomas Young, a 27-year-old Saulteaux First Nations man, was hanged at the Kenora District Jail in Kenora, Ontario, for the murder of Ontario Provincial Police Constable Calvin Russell Fulford, 28, at Ear Falls, Ontario, on Christmas Day, 1958. But Young was to claim 4 other victims during his alcohol-fueled rampage. He was pronounced dead at 1:20 a.m. The crime that led to Young's execution was a sordid one. On Christmas Eve, 1958, the former hydro worker had gotten into an argument at a Christmas party, and when his brother John intervened, Thomas had slapped him across the face and then left, ostensibly for home. On Christmas Day, Thomas, who was drunk, was at his father's cabin when John and a teenaged couple, Walter, a.k.a. Jimmy Gordon, 18, and Clara Gordon, 16, arrived, intending to play some records. Thomas had a rifle and opened fire, killing both Gordons as well as his father Albert, aged 47. John and another guest, David Williams, 16, managed to flee to the Williams home. Constable Fulford, who had been celebrating Christmas with his wife and 3 children, was summoned by John and David's father, George Williams, who was also 47 years old. Fulford took his service revolver and, in company with the other 2 men, approached the Young cabin when Thomas again opened fire. George Williams was fatally shot, while Fulford, hit in the shoulder, managed to crawl some 20 yards before passing out. Thomas then approached the unconscious man and, taking the constable's service revolver, stuck it in Fulford's mouth and pulled the trigger. John, who had escaped, ran to the Fulford home to report what had happened, and one can only imagine the reaction of the constable's wife and children. Additional officers were summoned, and Thomas was tracked to his grandparents' home, where he surrendered after being forced out by 2 tear gas bombs. Thomas gave no explanation for his murderous rampage other than being intoxicated, but the Wikipedia article on which this account is largely based suggests his motive was jealousy, as Thomas was apparently unhappy that Clara had married Gordon, and he appears to have raped her during his killing spree. According to Wikipedia, Clara was pregnant. At his Kenora, Ontario trial, Thomas pled drunkenness and was convicted after 3 hours' deliberation by the jury, which did not recommend mercy. Thomas Young had no last words. His victims were OPP Constable Calvin Russell Fulford, 28. His father, Albert Young, 47. Clara Gordon, 16. Walter, a.k.a. Jimmy Gordon, 18. Some accounts say 26. And finally, George Williams, 47. Unlike most of the condemned killers featured on this channel, Thomas Young appears on Wikipedia, the wiki article being the primary source for today's video. All other sources are listed in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like, comment, and consider subscribing to The Gallows, where we explore Canadian murder cases which ended on the scaffold. And remember, if you're born to hang, you'll never be shot. Cheers.